Hi there, I'm Roger Mead. I'm the valuer and specialist in silver for GORRINGE'S The Auctioneers, and I have been since 2007. I think what you look for with silver, I always like the four things that I look for are the weight, state, date and desirability, and that can pretty much cover what you're looking for in silver. The weight, obviously, because silver is a precious metal and it will have a certain value depending on its weight. The state obviously is condition again, because with silver you can find that being a soft metal it's very prone to repairs or rubbing or splitting, and that's something you really got to look out for because that will affect any value. The desirability again is what's in vogue and what people are looking for. I've got a couple of items here at the moment which always seem to sell particularly well. Coasters, wine coasters, which obviously your bottle of wine will sit in, and people use and drink wine an awful lot, so that's quite popular. The claret jug, of course, to pour the wine into, they're still popular, and hip flasks. Not sure that encourages people to walk around drinking a lot, but they seem to be quite popular for when you're out in the cold and need a sort of swift nip of something. And this is a pair of sauce boats, which date from the George III period, and that's the age which I touched upon. Any early pieces of silver will obviously become more and more rare as time goes on because there's less of them about. And these pieces were made, this was particularly made in the late 18th century, and it's quite rare to have a pair of these. The condition's not great, but again, you know, I don't suppose I'd be that good if I was 250 years old. But being uncommon, and there are still collectors for these pieces. The young people today are less keen, which we found, but there are still collectors out there for fine pieces of silver. To anyone starting a collection, I would recommend they concentrate on the more collectible pieces, things such as vinaigrettes, snuff boxes, novelty items such as pin cushions. You get a lot of these in the form of small animals, and we find that the rarer the animal, again, is the more popular and more collectible it is as well. So you certainly need to look out for things that are slightly more unusual, slightly rare and collectible, and quite obviously appealing to the eye. There was one story where there was a lady and gentleman who came in with a group of silver in a box, which turned out to be the vast majority of it was sterling silver from America, which isn't that popular at auction, obviously has a certain value, but amongst it was this rather small two-handled porringer, which is a drinking vessel, which was in a bad way, to the point where they'd nearly not brought it in and thrown it away because they thought it was such bad condition that it wouldn't be worth anything. And on close examination it turned out the piece was actually early 18th century and was from one of the provincial Scottish assay offices, Aberdeen. And initially we'd put a conservative estimate, because of its condition it really was in a bad way, of 200 to 300, to which they were actually delighted because it was going to be lining for their dustbin at home. And the piece actually made £8,500 at auction and was keenly fought over, and actually ended up with a Scottish collector, so it went home.